Hey everyone, welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast, episode 10, part 2. This is the 10X recap episode. I'm your host, Sam Popple. This is my partner, William McClelland. How's it going, Will?
What's happening, everybody? How we doing?
Hey, it's been a busy week. How's your week been?
Dude, busy for sure.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to hop back in.
yeah,
Obviously,
dude. Last episode when we started, talking and seeing kind of what we both thought, it was I was definitely having a good time. So I'm excited to keep it going with where we left off. And we left off like kind of at a great spot because we finished off with Mike Tyson on the last episode. One of the most feared men in America at one point, and now we're kind of taking off to a guy who's really like bringing some positive changes and stuff. To the world. What do you think, Will?
yeah, totally. No, I mean it was awesome to see him speak live and just hear his story. And I think we were talking about it last time. If you don't know how he was like brought up and stuff like that, it's just incredible where he got to and where he is now. And it's just really awesome. But the next speaker that we saw was insane. I mean, especially for a podcast like this and people who are interested in real estate and real estate development, a guy who, didn't really have too much and is now a billionaire.
Yeah.
I mean, so talk about someone to look up to. And then on top of that, to have done it, on his own. And the coolest thing, I think, which we'll probably get into, is he just said, like, yeah, I was pretty hesitant to get involved until I was 26 and finally just went all in and did my first project. And it was about a 14-month project, and we cleared $30 million. He's like so casual about it. I'm like, what? First project, $30 million.
In his 20s, it made me feel behind.
Yeah, I'm like, holy what? Yeah, and that was what he took it, 30 million. So you want to go ahead and talk, tell everybody who we're talking about?
Yeah. So we're talking about Don Peebles, the great real estate developer. And he had a real cool story about how he kind of came up and kind of started his business in the DC area. He was heavily involved in politics, and I definitely think he didn't necessarily say it, but I would definitely think that some of those connections he made definitely led to him getting some of those deals. But man, just kind of starting off with some of the things he said. I remember one of the things I have at the top is timing and connections. And whenever I've talked to other super successful people and I've asked them advice, some very common things that come about, and almost anyone I talk to is your connections. So it's always network, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And sometimes it's finding the right who for what you need to do. And then timing is the other thing that sometimes doesn't get talked about a whole lot in the success journey. That sometimes you can have the most great, perfect idea in the world, but if the timing's kind of off, that can have effect. And I mean, and a great example of how important timing is think about all the people that launched businesses in 2020, and what a struggle that was. It might have been the greatest business idea in the world, but when commerce is shut down, the timing can be off. So when he said that, it resonated with me, because I've definitely seen in the business I've been doing and things my family has done, that timing is important, as well as those connections. What was your first big takeaway?
Yeah, dude. I liked how he said that he was working just like in politics here and there, helping with political campaigns, and then next thing you know, he was just noticing in the DC area that the top of the food chain were the developers.
I love where you're about to go.
Yeah, and so he said, well, I'm working these campaigns, trying to figure out how to get these contracts, and I'm getting these contracts for all of these other people to make millions of dollars. And he did that for quite a number of years through his early 20s, and then Yeah, like we kind of previewed a little bit earlier, he got started just by doing appraisals. So he was working lead campaigns and trying to help, and he actually helped, or he worked on the campaign for the mayor of DC, and then simultaneously he was doing appraisals, and he said he was doing very well at doing appraisals just because of the vast amount and how quickly DC was booming at that time, but in comparison to these people that were getting contracts for millions of dollars, which he was also helping put together because he was doing dinners and whatever for this for the mayor campaign, he was like, you know what, I want to do that, and so he just said he didn't care what it took in like the steps to do it. He just said, I'm going here. I want to be at the top of the food chain, which is developers. And yeah, I had it written down. He did his first commercial space deal was in the heart of DC. He's 26 years old. He put the project together. He led it. He said, I'm going to develop it. He worked with the mayor who ended up winning that campaign. Kind of what Sam was talking about. It's all about who you know and timing. Capitalized on that win, got the contract, $60 million. He takes away $30 million at 26. And so I thought that was really, really cool. And he was talking a lot about economic redevelopment activity and kind of understanding that timing. But there's always setbacks and challenges. But something interesting that he was talking about is it's the developers at the top of the food chain. It's kind of shifted now to where he's at in the market now. He's saying developers are here, but slightly right above them right now is the financial institutions. So those who can lend money, private equity, people who can lend money out, and they're kind of controlling what the developers can and can't do, especially with super high interest rates right now. But something that he kept saying over and over again is right now is the best time to buy real estate for the next 30 years.
I have that in my notes too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so something that he's doing is now he is actually lending money. He has a company where he's working private equity. He has one of the largest real estate development companies in the entire US, which I'm sure staggering for the world.
Yeah, he's building the largest building, the tallest building in North America currently.
Yeah. And so he is not just North America, the entire Western Hemisphere. The Affirmation Tower is going to be in the heart of not DC. We're talking about DC, in the heart of New York. And he said it's going to trump the Empire State Building, which is kind of like,
crazy.
That in itself is a pretty crazy statement. So like just where his head was at, where he was thinking. I mean, I just loved his presentation, and his demeanor is so cool because he's just like, he's been hanging out with politicians. He's been hanging out with politicians because he's just like reading the room, super relaxed, answering everything like not
very
necessarily
nonchalant.
Yeah, nonchalant, not necessarily curt, but he was to the point. But he wasn't really going too much after that, so I loved it, man. What else did you have?
Let's see. One thing he said, which I've kind of always considered to myself, but I like the way he tied it, was an opportunity investor. He said he's an opportunity investor, and I've always kind of lauded myself as someone who's always on the eyes open for the opportunities and stuff. By all the things I send you throughout the week, that I'm constantly peeking out opportunities and things. I like that. One thing also. You said it's always cool hearing from a billionaire. And one of the things, like you said,
totally cool.
Yeah, generally billionaires are asset heavy and cash light.
Dude, I have that same thing right here.
Yeah. And I've heard of multiple reasons, doing that, because I know, like right now in the news right now, one of the things that's going on is, if Trump has the money to cover his, bonds and stuff from his case. And I don't want to dive off into politics or anything, but they always just use an example of them. They saying, well, if he's a billionaire, why doesn't he have the, cash just to go ahead and write the check up, And so Don Peebles is another billionaire who said that, most billionaires are asset heavy and cash light, which makes sense because, most people, do build a lot of wealth through real estate appreciation and asset appreciation. So, that's how a lot of people would get it.
Especially building the largest building in the Western Hemisphere, like that
Right.
is insane.
Another cool thing about that building in particular is that it's going to be majority minority owned, and it's the first woman. Correct me if I'm wrong. Women architect, right? Or is it builder? Women architect and builder.
Contractor, yeah, all of it was done.
Yeah.
The whole project is being led by a woman-based, like a woman-led team, excuse me, and which is the first time in history. And he was talking about, he gave an example about where he was pitching this deal a while back before they broke ground to some, I'm imagining really large, deep pockets. Was it Swedish or Swiss? Or it was a large group, or it might have been Finnish. It might have been in Finland. A large group in Europe, but
yeah, it's a European. I just remember a European group.
Yeah, it was a large European banking institution, and they ended up cutting the deal because live in the pitch they said, "Well, you can't do this with a woman-led team," and Don pretty much was like, "Okay, well then you guys aren't the partners for this. This isn't it." And I just thought that was like pretty powerful. Like
it's cool to see someone become that successful and then make it a point to create opportunities like for people that he deemed don't have as big of a shot, or the big of a chance. Like how like I said, he just wanting to make sure everyone has a fair opportunity to be successful. And it's like I said, it's cool to see someone reach that high of a level, but yet still care about the common man and the the little people and stuff. So yeah, I think like I said, Don was a great guy. But man, as I flip my page to the next person,
I do have a couple more things that I thought were interesting.
Yeah. What else do you have on?
Well, just for the podcast, like he went over like a whole list of cities live on where he would invest and where he would not invest right now.
I wasn't going to tell them that, but all right, go ahead.
Oh, you weren't going to tell them that? We were going to hold
I was being greedy. I was keeping that to myself. I paid for the Growthcon ticket. These people need to do that.
That's fair. No.
Let's share a city or two that you got written down.
Yeah. So I thought something interesting is they even brought up about what was happening in New York with Trump. And he said, I'm still asset heavy in New York City. Obviously, he's building the Affirmation Tower there. But he said for specific types of commercial real estate, he said only for office buildings and apartments. He said there needs to be so much more living space. Also, he has DC listed for office and apartments. And really interesting one, two were Atlanta and Charlotte. He called Atlanta the New York City of the South currently. So it's in its largest boom, which if you're in the Southeast, Atlanta is getting crazy now. But that's just a few that he said he'd be in. Charlotte, he's actually building it was like a 300 or 400 unit apartment complex called Brooklyn Village, and like building out a whole thing there. But he said bad ones where he is completely out of, where he has invested in the past, all of Colorado. He said Denver's hit its peak and it's on the bad side of the bell curve now. He said he is not going to step foot in LA. The footprint, the traffic, everything that's happening there is really putting a damper on any type of potential growth, especially downtown LA. It's getting really tough to come out positive there. And an interesting one, which for 2 years was the fastest growing city, was Austin, Texas. He invests everywhere else in Texas. He's a yes in Houston, a yes Dallas Fort Worth. He was big time yes Dallas Fort Worth, San Antonio, but he is pulled out of Austin. So anyway, I thought we had to share that with everybody. I thought those were really
for sure. And look, since we're our real estate podcast, and you brought it up, I want to go ahead and add in too, just from being in some real estate clubs, that Grant Cardone has definitely said that Austin is actually one of the ones that has so much new inventory, apartment inventory coming on the market here soon that there will be a price stagnation in the rent growth over there. So that he did not suggest getting involved in any new apartment syndications in the Austin area, just because, like I said, they thought it was going to be a very stagnant next few years on rent growth, just because of all the new apartment options in Austin.
Dude, heck yeah. Crazy though, but yeah, we can kind of move on. I mean, this next guy is just just a legend in the octagon, dude. Complete.
Wait, I think. Well, maybe I took that order. I think we're missing a football player, aren't we? Are you?
Big Ray Lewis.
Yeah, dude. I think you're skipping Ray.
Oh, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, all right, we watched Ray Lewis. Yeah. I must have skipped a page, dude. Ray Lewis was. I think he's awesome. People have like, they can think whatever about him. The guy is like one of the most decorated, at least on defense, athletes in the National Football League in history. I mean, the guy's insane, but man, the way he presented himself, the way he talked to everyone, he was super engaging. He got up from just like a interview back and forth with Grant and just started kind of like talking out to everyone in the crowd. It was awesome, man. What were some key takeaways you had?
Yeah. So one of the things I wrote down, he said, is life is made up of 1,000 choices every day. Those choices lead to your purpose. And I thought that was gold. Because if you think about all the small choices you make and how it, weaves your path of life. I mean, we talked about it multiple times, but the way we even came together, we both decided we wanted to figure out how to source more real estate deals. So let's go study the way wholesalers do it. And that's where we met, so it was that choice that led us there. So just little things, we do every day, getting up to, read that, book that we're learning new knowledge from, or, to go out, to take a walk or go to the gym to make, progress on your fitness, whatever it is. It's the small choices each day. And then
something actually from his talk that I incorporated into my daily routine. He said that every night before bed, you need to do 4 1-minute planks. He said it takes even with the break, it's less than 5 minutes, and it'll change your life. Something he does every single day, and he gave a really cool story about a deck of cards that he was given when he was 9 or 10. Is he puts them down. Each card correlates with the amount of push-ups that he had to do. And he was saying, when I was little, I was skinny, but I wanted to play football, and I had this deck of cards, and I started going down. And it was cool because he said, in my hotel room, I have that same deck of cards. Like, I thought that was insane.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But definitely cool. And the one thing I didn't know about the guy, he's a cyclist.
Oh, that blew my mind.
Like one of the biggest.
Ray Lewis, but he has not lost too much size.
Yeah, the guy is feared in football. Like, I mean, Peyton Manning said the guy that he was most scared to get hit by was Ray Lewis. So, like I said, to see this hoss of a man, like he was built in this suit. You can see his muscles through his suit, and like this guy's one of the people wearing tights on the side of the road riding a bike. I'm like, was laughing,
and he loves it, loves it. He was talking about
he was like, "Where are my people at?" Talking to cyclists, and that was just so funny. Like seeing this, like I said, jacked NFL, former NFL superstar, knowing that his hobby is bicycling. So awesome. But what else did you take away from him? He was just such a genuine guy. If you guys don't know what he's doing now, like after the NFL, he is back in the cities. He's creating like these really cool inner city, not only leading kids to play sports, but a complete way to take underprivileged kids and get them through high school into college. I mean, it's really cool what his foundation is doing. And he's like really inspiring, of someone who came from a tough place, parents didn't have a lot of money. And then he's like, now he's out of that and he's giving back. It's super cool. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's about what I had. Because one of the things I'll say whenever the sports stars come on, generally, it's like I love kind of like being in the moment, but at the same time, like, where I take the most notes is more the finance guys. But right after Ray Lewis, we had another, sports guy, Michael Chandler, UFC fighter.
The
That
guy.
was pretty cool. Seeing, someone who's like, fought in the ring with Conor McGregor. I mean, like, yeah, what a guy. I mean, yeah, seeing his cauliflower ears. I mean, the guy, like he's been through it.
Yeah, and just how genuine the guy was and how he was talking. Like, I've always, I get in, I do what I have to do, I train, and kind of the sacrifices he gives to be the best. He was talking about an 8-week program where he removes himself, and he said this. He's like, I'm always going to be the father of my children, but in this time, it's always tough for my wife and I. But we have an understanding that 8 weeks leading up to a fight, I live and breathe what I'm going to do, which is to win in the ring. And I do everything, all my training, everything is extremely routine. The way I eat, what I'm doing, how I'm visualizing, all of these things where he feels he puts himself, and he was saying he removes himself from the rest of the world, including like his intimate family, which I thought was something, really, profound, especially to tell that to a whole, a huge room of people. And it just kind of shows, like, man, some of these top athletes, they're putting their body and their mind and their relationships to the max. They're just pushing it to the max. And kudos to his wife and everything taking on that role. And he said, sometimes for those 8 weeks leading up, she kind of takes on both parental roles, and that's just a mutual understanding of what they have. But that's 2 months. That's a long time for him just to, sometimes he won't even be at his house. He'll go train somewhere else where it's just like him, trainers, and people watching what he's eating, different types of things, and he's like totally engulfed. And then just how genuine the guy was on the other half. He's like, I've never been into like all the flashy stuff. I don't ever talk poorly about my opponents, which Grant was really wanting him to. He was like, yeah. So what about the, Conor McGregor? Like, what is that guy like? And what, everyone has something to say about him. He's like, and he was just, I don't know. He was just so genuine, and you could tell that. And I thought that was cool. But yeah, cauliflower ears, that was tough, man. I know that guy's, and on top of that, like, the guy was crazy fit for his late 30s. And so he was just preaching, which we've kind of talked about before, is he said, health is wealth, like even if you have to, cut out other things, he's always focusing on his body. One, because it's what pays, the healthier he is and the more fit he is, obviously the better he'll do in the octagon. But yeah, he was another really cool. And like, the athletes are super cool because that life and that journey is just so interesting, and they make their money totally different than the 99% of that room that's in there, where people are looking at financial institutions, traditional W-2s, working up the corporate ladder, or investing through real estate or whatever it might be. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that's one of the things even Grant says is that like, not all of us can go be an athlete. Not all of us can go be like a sports superstar. Not all of us can be a musical artist. But we can all learn business. Business is something that we can all do, and so I think that's why, like, a lot of these the business and finance guys, I like have tons of notes. Whereas like all the athletes, I was more just a fan, sitting in awe, hearing the story. But man, are you ready to go on to our next guy?
Yeah, dude, bring it on.
Anthony Scaramucci.
Scaramucci, another super cool guy.
I hope I said his name right. Did I say his name right?
Yeah. Just another totally cool guy who came from Long Island, just humble beginnings to becoming a billionaire again. Like, totally cool story.
He said some of the people let's see, some people grow, some people swell, And so that's why I thought that was kind of a funny line. Like, you know, so some people have growth and some people just kind of like get big headed. Is kind of how I took that. And then let's see, watch how we come out of this.
Something I thought was super cool about him is he's like he sees how the money is all held on Wall Street, and he was just saying that it's super unfair, and something that like his life goal is to give everyone the same opportunity. He talked about how he got into Tufts University and it was going to cost so much money. And so he didn't think he was going to get to go. And something pretty powerful was his dad really believed in him, cashed his entire retirement out and gave it to him as a check to pay for college.
It was his entire life insurance policy.
Oh, his entire life insurance policy. I thought, yeah.
It was his entire, his entire life insurance policy. So it was like the family's lifeline. Bet it all on little Anthony.
Yeah. So that was pretty powerful. And, you know, obviously it worked for him, and he took that and ran with it and ended up going to Harvard for his master's, right? Or his doctorate, one of the two. And then just started killing it, absolutely killing it on Wall Street. But he just kept talking about being resilient. You have to be resilient. You have to create and understand goals, drive your mindset. He said, but once you hit goals, you have to continue to dream big and dream bigger, and then create mindsets to follow up that. Something crazy that he just like casually said. He's like, yeah, we raised about 300 or 400 billion in funds. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Okay.
Whoa. Whoa.
300 or 400?
Oh yeah. My God. Like, you're talking about $500 billion. It's insane.
One of the things I wrote down that he said, which I really liked, and I'm trying to read my notes, so bear with me, but it's not the things you worry about because you will protect yourself from those things. It's the things that you are absolutely sure about that you have to be worried about, the unknown.
I love that.
And so, and as I learn new things as far as, finances and real estate and stuff, a lot of times it's something I like think I know that it turns out like, no, I didn't really know it the way I thought I knew it. Yeah. And that's where, we gotta eat our words sometimes, or lose a little bit of money. So
yeah, dude, that's actually an interesting point, because he said that you have to understand risk management to create and understand protected worries. I thought that was interesting, and something that he kept preaching over and over again. And this is another billionaire, is he was just talking about staying humble. I think 3 different times he said it 3 different ways about staying humble. Like right here, do not let your money inflate your ego. Stay humble. Earlier part, he just said, stay humble. It's part of your character. And I think he said somewhere else, I had a ton of notes on him, but kind of like what you were saying, Sam, about.
Yeah, I was gonna say that grow and swell comment.
Yes, well, he was really about that, and he was kind of a little bit more quiet and reserved, but yeah, he runs one of the largest finance conferences in the world. So just focused kind of on Wall Street and things that are happening there, same way that Grant kind of rallies people together. He does the same thing. So that might actually, I really enjoyed him. I wouldn't mind going to one of his conferences too. I don't know about you, but he was just talking. Yeah, he was talking a little bit about like basic investing, understanding the Magnificent Seven. He was pitching like, you can't play victim when you lose in the market. You just got to keep moving towards those goals, understanding your destiny. Something that he just kind of threw in that then he started really, really going at is he's a huge, huge Bitcoin guy. The guy is big into Bitcoin. He was throwing some stats.
Myself.
Yeah, dude, he's throwing out some stats saying that 7% of the U.S. GDP is completely borrowed. 7%. And when we're in trillions and trillions in debt, that's like that's a staggering amount of money. So he was talking about there's a specific money database, fixed supply, it's completely secure, stable. There's no third parties. So it's not like the Fed can just go, or the Treasury can just go. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's, you try and get your money out. Well, if someone else needs it and it's in a bank and it's being withheld from you, like, you might not get it, kind of things like that. So he was big into Bitcoin. I definitely want to check out. His conference, I think. But I wrote down that again. He said you can never underestimate your potential. Like rags to riches story. Not saying, and he was pretty open. He said we always had what we needed, but my dad was a working man. I can't remember if he was a crane operator or something like that. Right? He's just a hard blue collar worker. And so he said, and he was so nice. He's like, our parents always tried their best to make sure that we had everything. But coming from that and then becoming a billionaire is like, that's still insane, staggering.
Yeah, one of the things too he said that I think resonates is just a true life fact that some people come to grips with and some people don't. But like people's lives are better when they figure it out. Is you have to deal with things how they are, not how you want them to be.
I love that.
And it's like we all have thoughts of how we wish things were in the world, but then we have the reality of the world, and that's what we all gotta live and deal with, not how we would wish everything would be if it were perfect. So like I said, that was one of the last things from him that I wrote down and really stuck with me.
Yeah, I had this last one. I knew it. He just kept reiterating about staying humble, which I thought was so cool because you could tell like this guy.
He was a humble guy. Like you could he wasn't like a flamboyant billionaire kind of, I guess how like most people would think someone would be. Like he was very. If he was behind you in Starbucks, you'd have no idea like you had a billionaire right behind you.
Yeah. Right here, he said, "Money does not buy happiness. So stay humble." That was kind of something I guess I wrote in closing of my notes. So yeah, he was kind of living by that. So just that, I personally resonate really well with that. Someone who's kind of practicing what they preach. And of course he's on the stage full of people, but when you have someone really exuberant and full of energy, like Grant, who's interviewing, a lot of times they're kind of stumbling over each other. I think at one point, Anthony said, "I don't know, Grant. Well, you want to ask me these questions. Am I interviewing you or are you interviewing me?" Like it was something they were kind of like back and forth on each other. Like they weren't totally in sync because it was just kind of polar opposite, like personalities, and you could kind of tell that. So it was cool though.
Yeah, Grant's an amped up guy, and then Anthony is definitely kind of nonchalant, as far as demeanor wise. Not saying the guy's not a financial killer, but it's definitely his proof is there. But his everyday demeanor is definitely a little more laid back than Grant's. Go! Let's 10x this.
Yeah, dude. I've got a couple more. I got a couple more coming in. I mean, I think we do a couple more, and we might have to do a part 3 to this. What do you think?
I'll do for sure. Yeah. So, you were saying a couple people. Yeah. Do you want to maybe we do the next one and we wrap up this episode with Bob Dugan, or do we want to wrap it up with? Do we want to end with Tim Grover or start with Tim Grover?
Let's start with Tim. So we'll do.
Bob Dugan.
Big Bob and Marissa Street. Yeah.
So
cool, dude.
Yeah.
Bobby Dugan, that guy was crazy. He was all over it for 80, dude. He was making
it. Very energetic for a man in his 80s. Definitely all over the little scattered as far as his thought process, but you kind of see that for someone who reached the high level success that he has, that he really has just a quick mind. Quick wit. And
dude, what about him just memorizing the dictionary?
Oh, dude, he was giving us definitions. He's really he likes to be clear on language is one of the big takeaways I could tell just from listening to him, that he was, when Grant would say something, he would turn around and like define each word before answering the question, which I thought was interesting. But one of the
I thought
first
it was
things.
interesting too. Like, it's like,
Yeah. It was almost like he was wanting to clarify what hey, let me clarify the question I'm answering, and then here's my answer.
yeah, because it was cool. Like at one time, he said the third. He's like, if it's used in a verb content in Merriam-Webster's like dictionary, and I was like, this guy not only knows the dictionary,
Yeah.
but he knows if it's a noun, if it's a verb. It was crazy.
Yeah, one of the things I wrote is become a little bit better each day, which that's something that I've always been about. I always strive to be 1% better each day, is what I always tell myself. And then life needs to keep moving you forward, and moving it forward. And that's, like I said, another thing I agree with. No matter what's going on in terms of our personal lives, we always got to keep everything pushing forward.
Yeah, dude, I have that right here. Life needs you to keep moving forward because it'll keep moving forward without you. But as long, like he kept saying, we're all part of each other. We're all beings together, and we have to keep pushing forward for the rotation to keep happening. Something that I thought was really interesting was I visited his website, geniusworld.com, and he talks about the 24 traits and attributes to happiness, which he studied. But he also recommended everyone should study wisdom and everyone should study knowledge, just terminology, and then kind of going through that. Because he said with a better understanding of that, you get to know who you are, and it's easier to believe in yourself and what you can do. I don't know. To me, that was kind of like, especially listening to a lot of people who are pretty straightforward back to back to back, or had these like athletic careers, and this guy's kind of expanding your mind to think like, okay, everyone is in the world together, we're all working simultaneously, like every person can get to some level of success, but you have to allow your mind to get there. It was kind of like it was a more holistic approach, which I thought was kind of cool.
Definitely. And one thing we didn't mention, because Bob Dugan's not a name people recognize, like when we
Totally.
say Lewis or Mike Tyson. So for you guys who don't know Bob sold his company for $21 billion. Like 21 billion. He's a real billionaire. Like not just barely. Like he's like got multiple. He could lose a couple and still in the club. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite was like talking about 10x, and something that was crazy is he went from 60 million to 300 million, and then 300 million, I think, to 2 billion. Mm-hmm. But now his goal, and so he was talking about like getting from 60 million, which is awesome,
right.
But then getting to 2 billion, he was like, that's not a 10x, that's like more than 100x or 1000x, whatever he was saying. He said, but I'm really focused on 3xing now. He said, now that I'm worth like 3 or 4 billion, he said that 3x is way better than 1000x.
Right. That definitely. And one thing since we're talking about his money, I don't want everyone to think like he's a greedy rich guy. But one thing that another thing I took away in a lot of these real successful people, it was all about giving back. Like that's one thing I took away from a lot of the people we talked, is like once they reached a certain level of success and had their platform and had the ability, they immediately started giving back. But he said, think more of others' wants and needs over your own. And, I think that's real important. Especially entrepreneurs and new business owners out there. A lot of people complain about, trying to find employees, or the workforce isn't, what it used to be. And that's something like any entrepreneur these days needs to be thinking about. What does a person I need to do a job for me, what do they need in their life to feel good, happy, and successful? And,
love that.
So it's like, so in my own business, that's one of the things I'm constantly looking for is how can I help, someone get what they want, so that way they love being at work, they love their job and want to give it back, to me. And so it's definitely important that you're always thinking about, others' wants and needs, no matter if you're the boss of your company or if you're the manager. No matter what your role is, be thinking about, the people that work under you, what their wants and needs are, because if you do that, they'll wind up taking care of a lot for you. And the other thing he said was, if you make a mistake, take one time to review what you did wrong and then move forward. And I thought that was another good thing, because there's a lot of times in life that we do, make a mistake, or, something bad happens, or we do something that we regret, and we spend way too much time, dwelling on it, beating ourselves up. And you can't go back and change the past. All you can do is watch the game tape and play a better round next time you have the opportunity. And that's like I said, one of the things I wrote down and took away is that if you make a mistake, you just review it one time, and then realize what you could do different next time, and then move forward.
Totally. And if you guys don't know Robert Dugan, he's his whole goal was to make people's life better. He made his fortune from biotech. So his whole goal was to get better, and now he was it 2 or 3 new biotech companies. Like one, I think that's even might be some like extremely revolutionary technology and cancer research and things like that. So totally cool. He was also talking about others. The only way that you can help others is by being the best at what you are, and being who you are 100%. I thought that was cool. And like, this guy is a billionaire, and he's talking, doing a talk in front of 10,000 people, and then another 200,000 people online, and you could tell just how true he was to himself, because he's quoting the dictionary.
Right.
You could just, that's him. He's like thinking about it. You could see his mind and how it processes things. I just thought he was a really cool speaker.
And then 2 more things that I wrote down. These were kind of the last 2 that I had, that said, you should think 10 lifetimes out, which I thought was really good. I've definitely, going a little bit biblical. I know you're supposed to plan for your next 3 generations, and according to the Bible. So I thought that was really cool. Like, looking at the broader sense of society on being able to, plan, like I said, 10 lifetimes out, for other people that are going to be beyond you. And then he also said, which again, another really cool thing, everywhere I go, I leave more than I take. And I thought that was another good takeaway. It's something that we can all strive to do, is, give back more than we get. So
totally. It's amazing. So, well, yeah, he was awesome. And so everybody check out his website, geniusworld.com, 24 traits and attributes to happiness. It's just things like Sam was saying, you try and get 1% better every day. Next thing you know, when you're 100 days down, you're 100% better than what you were 100 days before. And so now you just keep adding one new thing to that. And after 365 days, you're a totally different person.
Exactly.
I know that some of my morning routines, things that I do at night, Sam's known me for a long time. I feel health-wise a lot better, mental clarity there, just from this exact same time last year. Because actually, it's funny. We were just talking about it. We opened up our business a year ago this month. So, so like I know from that point in my life to now, and I'm sure Sam feels the same way. We've definitely leveled up, and something really great that we maybe don't, or I don't give kudos to Sam enough, is like, when you have a partner in business, but then also as a friendship, and you have people to talk to, do things socially, and better yourself with. You have an accountability partner. I don't know. To me, it's like, I can't even describe what it's done for my life and how it's made me a better person. But it also, it also makes you execute things. Like a lot of people want to be these solopreneurs, which is great. I think people can do very well with that. But I'm a big proponent of, I think we say it every episode. We'd rather have a slice of a big pie than all of no pie.
Well, and then it's more fun together too. But like, especially with like the way our dynamic is, like, Will is a guy, like, he's been a project manager in a lot of different businesses he's been in, and so he's really good at keeping things going, keeping things on task, seeing what's behind. And so having someone like him that makes me feel like sometimes that I'm not pulling my weight. So I try to do some other stuff like, so this week I got our website link and some more initial things started just because like I want to make sure I'm doing my part, because I got a partner who he gives me 200% all the time. So like I said, it's like when you have people that are doing things, you're doing things with, it just makes it nice, and it keeps you pushing forward, because you're like, well, man, I need to do more because he's doing more. And so like I said, I definitely like our partner dynamic. But hey, we're gonna wrap it up there and pick up with Tim on the next episode.
I was just gonna dote on Marissa Street a little bit from Prager. She's the CEO. I have a couple things written down. I thought she was really awesome. Another really genuine person coming from the education background. She's kind of trying to turn education and give it to what we need now.
What do you think about her talk about the naked communist?
Yeah. So she carries,
like how accurate and scary is that these days?
Yeah, so have that down here, which is something you guys can Google. It's something that's happening currently in society about a paper that was written 6 or 7 decades ago, based off of Russian propaganda. Really, not bringing any politics up. I would highly suggest you to read that. It kind of puts things into a little bit more perspective. And then she had it live and was reading a couple things to us, and I was like, whoa, this is a little bit scary, because either someone was thinking way in advance, or this is a coincidence, but I'll let you guys kind of decide on that. But she was really big about building yourself up, being around those who expect higher standards.
I remember when you expect yourself to do more, you will do more.
Dude, I love it. And so that's kind of funny.
Right, what you were saying, so that's why I had to interject it.
No, totally, because it teed up that, and that's kind of why I wanted to get into Marissa's talk, because it was just what Sam and I were just talking about at the last part. Like, we like having a partnership back and forth, but we make each other better, So, and that's just something that is very difficult to do on your own, and even if you are extremely disciplined, but talking about discipline kind of talks about her big 3 of being better, be emotionally strong, be physically strong, be spiritually strong. If the body is weak, the mind is weak. I thought those are really good.
Definitely. And the one other thing I wrote, which is a very, another thing I've heard amongst many successful people, is the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Right.
Which, like I said, that's a very something multiple successful people I've heard in speeches, or they've told me directly on one-on-one talks. It's a very common theme you see in success.
Totally. What you are and what you believe is what your mind is. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. So some really cool things that were said there. But I really liked her. She gave a lot of really interesting talks. We kind of spent a lot of time on the naked communist. So just kind of wrapping this up before we get into part 3, which is super cool. Because we'll start with Tim Grover, but man, this episode 10 has really stretched out. I'm loving it.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, I think it's definitely better for the viewers that we break it up into 3 parts, because I don't know if anyone wants to listen to us for 3 hours straight.
Totally. And we couldn't record that long. So something that we kept going from the first episode is we didn't talk about our notes, which you guys can kind of see. We're still even though we're recording this one at a different time, Sam and I said, let's still not talk about the notes. Let's just do it like we did that first episode.
Yeah.
So it's fun again today, and we just have so many more speakers, and I see we're almost at an hour. So we're gonna cut this one here, and then we'll wrap up. I think we can get everybody in. Maybe we go to part D. I don't know, but Sam, where will we find you at, dude?
Yeah, so if you want to find me, you can go to my Instagram at Sam_FloridaMan. You can find me on Instagram there. Shoot me a message if you have a deal you're working on that you'd like another set of eyes on, or if you're looking for some kind of partnership arrangement. Please shoot to me. And then I'd also like to go ahead and thank our sponsors, Clean Eats. Will, what are you going to be eating for lunch today?
Dude, hold on one second. I actually just got, I went to your place yesterday. I didn't tell you. And I just saw there was a new caprese chicken pizza, dude. I'm going to be crushing this guy.
Oh, yeah, you got one to show everyone? Oh,
dude, I just got it. This thing is insane. So this one with the big mozzarella
crust or thin wheat crust.
So this is cauliflower.
Okay.
I tend to go with cauliflower just because I'm a little lower carb, but the wheat is even less calories. It's like sub 500. This one's a little higher, but it has a lot of mozzarella and it has a ton of things in it.
Mm-hmm.
So
cheese made in the cauliflower crust.
What's up?
I said there's a lot of cheese, Parmesan used in the blend of the crust, the cauliflower.
To make it stick together. That makes sense. Yeah, this is 723 calories
for the whole pizza. By the way, that's not for a serving.
Pizza. For the whole pizza. It's a whole pizza, and 34 grams of protein, and only 32 carbs. I cannot believe that. Yeah, dude. Mozzarella, chicken, pizza sauce, tomato, basils. Amazing. That's it right there.
That's awesome. Well, now we talked about your lunch. Where can people get in touch with you?
Sorry, dude. I was closing my freezer.
Yeah.
I left it open. Yeah, you guys find us on Instagram, but you can find me. It's the same, Elite Real Estate Podcast. So you can find us there. But the coolest thing is that we want to link is our new website. Tell them about our new website, dude.
Yep. So our new website is the EliteRealEstatePodcast.com. So you can just go here. We should probably have the link here at the bottom of the screen or in our show notes. But definitely come check out our website. We're definitely looking for people that are wanting to be on our buyers list. So we're going to be bringing wholesale properties nationally. So if you want to be on our buyers list, please subscribe. And as always, we're also looking for people who want to possibly be investors or partners with us as well. So there's a spot on the website where you can, check if you're interested in, partnerships or doing private lending or something like that. So definitely come see us at the EliteRealEstatePodcast.com.
Yeah, dude. And for those that are just listening, I did get up and went to my freezer, and then I came back with the pizza. But those that are watching, we appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Send us some deals that you want us to view, or if you want to partner up, and we'll catch you in episode 10C.
Sounds good. See y'all next episode.
Peace.